Greetings, everybody. This is Courtni StarHeart, and I'm here with Patricio Dominguez and Adam Yellowbird. I'm so excited to talk about what's going on today with Eagle Condor. And I'd like to introduce Patricio as an international organizer, as well as Adam, of course, um, and a tribal elder. Both of them are part of One People Tribal Nation and have been organizing these amazing councils. I was so blessed to meet you both, and I'm really grateful for your work. Would you tell us a little bit about yourselves, each of you, and then also what you're doing, what your vision is?
Okay, I'm Patricio Dominguez, Mazo Kiwa. That is a Pueblo tribe in the southernmost region of the United States, in a state called New Mexico. Not a part of Mexico, actually, it's the 47th state of the United States. So, no, I'm not a Mexican, and I'm not a Mexican Indian. So, anyway, just to clear that up, because a lot of people hear the word Mexico and they draw strange conclusions. So anyway, I have been working Eagle Condor since about 1985, and it's following a 500-year-old prophecy that the eagle and the condor would fly together sometime in the future. Now, 500 years ago, right now was the future. So right now we are in the process of launching the Eagle and the Condor flight that is going to happen together. A lot of early work has already been done in terms of gatherings, and I think I'll just let Adam introduce himself.
Excellent.
Hello, my name is Adam Yellowbird. My life's work has been set forth in the unification of all peoples and all nations, and found my journey crossing paths with some of the greatest teachers of my lifetime and journeys. And we've been working together basically since 1999, Patricio and I began to gather a greater understanding of the continental works that were being done through the Eagle and Condor confederations throughout the Americas, North, South, Central America. So since then, we've been working closely on national and international gatherings, and we look forward to sharing with all of you all that processes that we've been going through and the direction that we'll be moving.
Well, I was blessed to be carrying bags for Patricio when Adam held the fifth gathering, or was it the fourth gathering in Sedona? What year was that?
2009. We get a little jumbled on gatherings because some of the gatherings weren't necessarily through the Confederation's qualified gatherings, but what I at least that I can say is that the gatherings have been consistent and still following the original mandates. And yeah, that was a very significant gathering, and we've been meeting since then, and now very, very excited to share our efforts and works, where we're going from here. And this is not just about the Americas, which we'll explain. Now we're very much interested in building the alliances with other nations around the world.
I remember one of the most exciting things was getting to meet tribal elders from other continents, the Maori, and well, I don't know if that was at your gathering, that was with Patricio. And at your gatherings, I remember there were Tibetans and there was Queen Mother Rain, and there were amazing elders from around the world. I studied international relations, so when I was there, I was like a kid in a candy store. And I'm Native on my grandmother's side of the family, and I always wanted to know more about my Indigenous roots. Um, okay, so as soon as I met Patricio, he was actually printing out some kind of documents for, was it SIEPA? Would you tell us about what happened with the first three gatherings so everyone can be clear? There's a little confusion out there nowadays because other people are saying that they're doing Eagle Condor gatherings, and it's not really the same as what Patricio did. Um, I would love to have some clarity on that just for history's sake.
Yes, clarity on Condor, that there has been an upwelling of everybody that basically feels like they're connected to the earth and the earth processes and all that, to climb onto this prophecy of the eagle and the condor. The eagle condor prophecy is, of course, 500 years old, as I said previously, and it is something that everybody at this point feels is should happen. And we actually started this thing back in 1985, holding a gathering in Guatemala back in the late 80s. That was, we call the organizing gathering. And we don't call it the first gathering because it was an organizing gathering of people that were going to eventually start the processes of bringing the eagle and the condor together. So at that gathering, we initiated, or we had planned for the first gathering, which was going to be in Guatemala, because the plan was to have really 3 gatherings to unite the 3 parts of the Americas: the Central, the South, and the North, and in that order. So the first gathering happened in 90 something or other, and the exact dates I'm not so good at, 92 maybe, but that gathering brought together all of the elders, all the significant elders of Central America, a handful of elders from North America, and a handful of elders from South America, to begin the process of introducing ourselves to each other and beginning the process of uniting the eagle and the condor. And then a few years after that, we had the second gathering, which was the gathering in South America, which, of course, brought together all of the elders that were able to travel to that gathering in Colombia. And then again, a handful of elders from the north, and actually a larger contingency of elders from the center, because after the gathering in Guatemala, there was of course, a lot of elders were introduced to the idea of the eagle condor. So they, of course, latched onto it and wanted to be a part of it and see it through its process. So after the gathering in Colombia, a few years later, like 2 or 3 years later, we had the gathering in North America, which, of course, gathered as many elders and wisdom keepers as we could gather in Nambe, New Mexico, and brought up quite the contingency of elders from South America and Central America, and that was what we called the beginning of the eagle condor gatherings. At that point, I sort of removed myself from the Eagle Condor project because I was what's known as a coordinator, and the task became extremely challenging, and my personal life needed more attention since I had been engaged in this for quite a few years. I resigned, and at another smaller gathering of elders in Bolivia, I believe it was, a new coordinator was chosen, and that coordinator sits to my left, and that is Adam Yellowbird, and I'll let him take the story from that point forward.
And I just want to ask one important question. The last time that I saw you 2 gentlemen together, you were working on another rendition of the treaty that you and I worked on, Patricio, the mandate.
Okay,
Remember
and
that?
we're not going to ignore that.
We're
We are
not going to
not
go
going
into
to
it
ignore
right
that.
now,
We are going to
but
cover
I
that
hope
in detail. But I'll let Adam take the gathering process from the point I mentioned, and then we'll launch it into that aspect, because that one is a fascinating aspect. Must be
we have
covered.
2 minutes left in this segment, and the next segment is going to deal more with the vehicle, right? The South for us is the actual vehicle. So we'll learn more from these gentlemen, what they're actually up to. I know that they're both experts on international law, the legality of plant medicine, indigenous rights, and it is so exciting because this original treaty was the manifestation of this ancient prophecy. And I know that it's still alive and I can't wait. But okay, so now you got 2 minutes, Adam, to tell us about where you took it from when you took over, because that's about when I met you and
Yes.
Patricio. Yeah.
Yes, so to follow up in 2 minutes here. So in 2007, one of our great mentors, High Priest Don Alejandro from Guatemala, we met in the Lake Titicaca, and there was a great gathering of elders. We called it Bridging the Americas. At that point, I was still being introduced furthermore in the unification of the Eagle and Condor. And prior to that, for years, I was in the unification process of the elders of the Americas and around the world, not knowing fully what it meant in the unification process. So I was appointed 2007 by the high priest and witnessed by the elders of the North South Central. And then we continued to move on to 2009, Return of the Ancestors gathering. And then furthermore, 2015, the Confederations Unite. And we had many other sub gatherings. And here we are today to bring to you the next chapter of our work.
That was an amazing synopsis, and I think that you might be under 2 minutes, but we'll wrap up this segment. I'm going to close everything out, and we'll see you back here for segment number 2, which is the logistics and the physical stuff that these gentlemen are doing to fulfill these ancient prophecies. Okay.